Hey friends, it's Jana here with Stamped in Ink, and it is day 8 of our 12 days of Christmas. I hope that you are enjoying the series as much as I am enjoying creating the projects for you. Today we are using the Pine Tree Trimmings Bundle. We are using the stamp set and the dies. We are going to create this cute quilted Christmas tree card. And we're going to be doing some paper piecing to create this tree. And then I'm going to show you how to create a cute little treat box out of two 6x6 pieces of paper. Now the paper I am using is the Christmas Tags and More paper, and it is currently unavailable. On the last chance list, it said that it is supposed to be coming back in stock, but I don't know if it'll be back in stock by Christmas. But you can always use any designer paper that you already have. All right, let's get started. We're going to get started with our card, and we're going to be doing some paper piecing. We have a crumb cake card base that is, I always forget my measurements. It is 4 1/4, no, 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and burnish this. Then I have a layer of garden green cardstock that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And I have another piece of cardstock that is, it's real red cardstock that is 4 by 5 1/4. And I have embossed this using our Forever Plaid embossing folder. Then we have a little tag here that is 1 inches by 5 inches that we're going to layer that on the front. And I just dovetailed the end using my scissors. I've already cut some of the trees and put them together, but we are going to grab our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And we're going to cut out, we're going to stamp and we're going to cut 2 trees. This is a little panel from the designer series paper, and this is a panel. And on the other side, it's just a different design. All right, so I'm going to grab my tree outline from the stamp set and my Memento ink, and I'm going to stamp these trees right onto this designer series paper. I'm going to grab my piercing mat just to give me a little cushion because these are photopolymer stamp sets. So I'm going to ink this up really well. And I'm just going to stamp this right onto the designer series paper. All right. Then I'm going to grab our little gingham. I'm going to ink my tree up again and stamp it a second time. Okay. My lid. So what I want to do is I'm going to take this tree here and I'm going to cut it up, and I'm going to put some of the pieces onto this tree here. And I did the same thing. I cut out one of the trees in this pattern and then cut another gingham pattern and then just cut the pieces and added them to this tree. So these are going to be our other 2 trees, but I'm going to show you how to paper piece with these. Okay, so now that we have our images stamped, I'm going to go ahead and grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and I'm going to grab my dies, and we're going to cut these trees out. And I have 2 sets of the dies, so I'm going to use both of my Christmas trees. Okay, so now that I have my trees cut out, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this one to paper piece. I am going to cut this one up and place it on this tree. And I'm going to grab my silicone mat so that I can add some glue to the back of these pieces. So I want this little section here. So I want the second section, and I'm just going to cut that section out. So I want the second section. I'm going to set this aside and save it for later. So we're going to take the second section, and then I want this third section here. So I need to cut this one off. And I'm just going to trim, just moving my scissors back and forth a little bit to give me a little jagged edge. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add some glue to the back of these panels, and I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to set it to the side and let it dry, and then we will start assembling our card. All right, I'm going to scoot that to the side, let that dry. I'm going to grab my banner, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment in early espresso. Open up my ink. I'm going to ink up this. It says "Oh Christmas Tree." I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp it right at the bottom there. Okay, I'm going to grab my 2 panels. I'm going to put some glue on the back of this real red embossed piece, and we'll layer it on top of the garden green piece. Just making sure we have that little 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the same to this, to the back of the panel, and then we'll layer that onto the front of our card. Right, now I'm going to take my label, my little banner piece, and I'm going to grab some twine, some real red and white baker's twine. I don't know how much that is, maybe 16 inches or so. And we're going to loop that over and just tie it double around the edge here. Like that. Grab my scissors again and just cut that loose. Then I'm going to push it over down to the end a little so that I have enough room for my Christmas trees. And I'm going to add some glue to the back of this, and then we'll stick it down to our card front. All right, so we're going to grab our trees, and I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool just to help me pick these up. And I'm going to grab my scissors. We're going to place this one right here over that piece, and then we're going to take this other piece and we're going to layer it right here. And there we have a cute quilted Christmas tree. Now I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of all 3 of our trees. Okay, we're going to start with this one. I'm going to put it right here. Then I'm going to go with the other one, and I'm going to put it right here. And then this one is going to go right in the center. And I'm going to trim up my tails. Oops. And we're going to add a little bit of bling to the front with our basic rhinestones. And one little one right over here. I went ahead and die cut, I forgot the little star at the top. I went ahead and die cut a little star. So I'm going to just grab a glue dot. I stamped the star in, Darling Duckling, and we're going to just add this to the top of our tree here. I'm going to use a little bit of Wink of Stella to add some sparkle. I always forget the last steps. And here is our cute card for today. Very quick and easy. All right, so now we're going to create this cute little bag out of 2 pieces of 6x6 cardstock. But let's go ahead and we're going to start on our, we're going to create the tag first. Let's get that ready. So I've used the branching out dies. Put it like this so you guys can see better. How's that? Okay. I've used the branching out dies to create the 2 labels, and they are actually back in stock, which is great. And I'm going to use a piece of very vanilla cardstock to stamp the full Christmas tree. I'm going to use garden green ink, and we're going to stamp that Christmas tree and die cut this Christmas tree out. I'm going to ink it up in the garden green ink, and then I'm going to just use the scrap piece I have here and stamp that Christmas tree. I'm going to grab my crumb cake ink and my early espresso ink, and we're going to decorate up this label that we have. This crumb cake piece, we're going to stamp our sentiment that says sending Christmas wishes, and I'm going to stamp this in early espresso right here at the corner. I'm going to grab my little star and I'm going to ink it up in some crumb cake, and I'm going to stamp the star just random. I think that's good. I messed this one up right here. I'm going to leave it. It's okay. It's supposed to look like it's homemade, homespun, right? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and layer this die cut piece on top of this garden green die cut piece. And use some glue. And just layer those 2 pieces together. And I'm going to take my Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, and I'm going to cut out our Christmas tree. Then I've already gone ahead and taken some of our little bows and stamped and die cut them out. I'm going to take 3 of these, and we're going to put them on our tree. I'm going to use my tweezers to help me hold them as I add some glue. Just need a little dot of this glue, not a whole lot. So I'm going to put just a little dot of glue, and I want one right there. Okay, now I'm going to take my baker's twine again. I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the other project. I'm just going to take and cut me a piece, double loop it, and I'm going to tie it around this section of the tree. I have glue on my finger so it keeps sticking. And grab some Stampin' Dimensionals and add those to the back of our tree, and we're going to stick them to our label. Like so. Now I'm going to grab this is the 1/8 inch hole punch, and this is part of the hole punch trio. I'm going to put it right here, and I'm just going to punch a hole right there in the corner of that label. All right, and we're going to set the label aside, clean off my space here, and we're going to go ahead and build our bag. I'm going to grab my Simply Scored and my 2 pieces of Designer Series paper, and we're going to score at 1.5 and 5.5. Then I'm going to turn it and score it again at 1.5. Okay, we're going to score the second piece the same way. 1.5, 5.5, turn, score again at 1.5. And then take my bone folder, and I'm going to burnish my edges, my score lines on both pieces. Okay, now you want to take your scissors, and this little rectangle on this 1/2 inch side, this little rectangle here, we're going to cut that completely off. And then I'm going to cut up on this piece here. And I'm going to just miter those edges, that corner on this side, like so. We're going to do the same thing to the other piece. I'm going to cut off this little rectangle. Go to the other side, and we're going to cut up and just miter that corner. All right. Now, I want some tear and tape, and I'm going to add some tear and tape to this edge here. Okay. And then I'm going to marry these 2 edges together. I'm going to take the 1/2 inch side on this piece and the 1 inch side on this piece, and I'm going to match this edge up with this crease. Like so. Then I'm going to add some tear and tape to this section, this other 1/2 inch piece right here. Trying to get it as close to the score line as possible, so that way my paper is going to stick to it won't flop around on the back of the bag. Okay, and we're going to fold this over like so on this crease line, then we're going to take this one and fold it over on this crease line, and those 2 edges should match up. All right, I'm going to add some tear and tape here, and I'm out. Grab another spool. I'm going to add another strip right back here. Okay. Then I want to add a piece here and one on this other little flap, the outside of the little flap. So I have tear and tape on the outside of both of the small flaps and on the inside of the big flap. So when these close, it'll stick to this piece that I'm going to fold in, and then this piece will stick to the outside of the bag. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take these off. And if you go over a little bit with your tear and tape, it's fine. You can just always just fold it back on itself. I'll fold these 2 in. Then I'm going to fold this down. Then we're going to take these off. This little bag is great for cookies, fudge, any kind of, you could put, you don't even have to do food items, but if you do food items inside the bag, just make sure that you wrap them in something, wax paper, or put them in a cello bag so that the oils from the food doesn't leak onto the bag. All right, so I'm creasing the bags on the corner like so. I'm going to grab my 1/4 inch hole punch and just hole punch here. I want my red ribbon. We're going to feed that through each side. Tie a bow, and then we'll add our tag to the front, and we'll be done. Okay, so we're going to grab our tag now and some baker's twine. I like to loop it through like this and then run the tails back up through this loop so that if the tag falls off the bag, it still has the tie on it. All right, now I'm going to come up here with one of the tails, and we are going to tie a bow on this like so. Then I took a mini glue dot and put it on the back side just to hold it down to the bag, but you don't have to do that if you want to. I just like that it was secure to the bag, so I'm going to do that here. Just like so. And there's our cute little bag. All right. And here we have our cute treat bag and our two projects for today. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed these projects, please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel and leave a comment so I can say hello. I'll see you next time. Happy stamping and Merry Christmas.